Hello, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee, and if this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. I do canning videos and baking and cooking videos and a lot of vintage recipes, and today it's kind of a combination. I'm going to show you how I do a Sunday dinner, Sunday roast dinner. So I am making Yorkshire puddings. It's the version that my family did. My grandma was from Canada, and it's how she taught my mom. And here it is in my mom's handwriting. So I have it mixed up, and mom and grandma said mix it up, and every time you go by, give it a swirl. So that's what I've been doing, and they'll cook later. But I'm gonna make the roast and the mashed potatoes, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna do corn, carrots, the Yorkshire puddings, applesauce. I'm not doing the roast potatoes and carrots because the roast I'm doing is a combo roast, beef and pork together. And if you've ever cooked one of these, the gravy's amazing. So I want to have mashed potatoes. And when you put the potatoes and carrots around like a pot roast, you don't get as much drippings. So this is what I'm doing for dinner today. And I'm gonna have my home canned applesauce. Yes. So it's gonna be a nice dinner, and then leftovers for tomorrow. Best part about cooking a nice dinner on Sundays. So let me show you how I put together the Yorkshire pudding batter.
It is very simple. You take 1 cup of flour and add it to the bowl. And then you're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 cup of milk and 2 eggs. And after you mix this all together, you leave it on the counter at room temperature for the rest of the day. This is around noon when I mixed it up, but Mom would mix it up first thing in the morning. And you just give it a little stir with the whisk every time you go by, and it gets nice and smooth, and the air builds up in it. It's what Mom always told me. And it ends up puffing up so much when you bake them. And when you bake them, you melt some margarine. I use butter into some muffin cups and fill them with the mixture till they're 3/4 full, and you bake them in a 400-degree oven for a 1/2 hour, and you can't peek for the first 20 minutes. So I'm just mixing everything up here. Got all the ingredients in. Got a little crazy and splashed some, but that's okay. So mix it up. It will be lumpy. It's not going to be smooth yet. But you want to have everything incorporated together. So I'm just going to keep whisking away and cleaning the sides off. And then I will just let it set for the rest of the day until it's time to bake them. And just give them a stir occasionally as I go by. It is truly such a simple and basic recipe. And I'm not sure if this is how other people make them, but this is how my grandma made them and how my mom made them.
Now it's time to get the roast on cooking. This is a not quite 3.5 pound roast. We're gonna put this in this roasting pan. I have my oven on 425. It's gonna make a sound in just a few seconds. There it is, it's preheated. In this roast I got from a meat market. They had this one combo roast, and I was so excited to see it. So you can see here's the beef and here's the pork, and it is tied together. So now I am going to put together some seasonings to go on the outside. So I'm going to put the seasonings in here. I'm going to do a teaspoon of granulated garlic, You can also cut little slits and put garlic in it. I do that a lot of times for pork roast. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon of onion powder. Got some thyme leaves. Put a half a teaspoon of that. Teaspoon of salt and about a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. So I'm going to mix this all together. I'm going to drizzle some olive oil over the top, just like a capful. Let that go. And now I'm going to sprinkle it with this. Let's put some more on this side. So I'm going to put this in the oven for 15 minutes at the high temperature. Then I'm going to move it down to 325 and cook it. You need about 35 minutes per pound. So an hour, we're going to need almost 2 hours. And I'll test it with a thermometer too. But into the oven this goes. Now I got a pot of water, and I got some potatoes I'm gonna peel. So I'll have them ready to go when it's time. I'm gonna put a couple pinches of salt in the water. And I'm just gonna peel these potatoes, which need to be used up, cube them, and put them in there. So they will be ready to go. Now, if I had Yukon Gold or Red, I might not peel them because they have a softer, thinner skin. My dad, though, I was talking to him last night, and he hates mashed potatoes where the potatoes aren't peeled. He goes, I just think that's lazy. So I tried to explain that different potatoes, but yeah, he didn't agree. Do you use a potato peeler or a paring knife? I do both. My mom always used a little paring knife. Okay, I just shook some I just did a few shakes of Worcestershire sauce on top. Then I added about a half a cup of water around. Lowered the temperature to 325 and back in this is gonna go. Almost done. Corn's heating up. Here's the batter.
Roast is almost done. I added some onions about a half hour ago.
Okay, I'm gonna let the liquid absorb off these potatoes. So they're nice and dry, and then they will whip up really nicely. I added a couple of tablespoons of butter, 2 ounces of cream cheese, and I'm heating up some milk so it's not ice cold. I will add some of that. Sometimes I take the hand mixer and whip it up. That's how my dad always did it. It's best not to add ice cold. It'll turn it gummy. You can use half and half. I'm gonna taste them, see if they need more seasoning. They do. Some more salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of onion powder. And I'm going to take some pats of butter and put on the top and put a lid on this so it will just melt on top. Okay. Because the Yorkshire puddings will take about a half hour. This is ready to come out. I'm going to take the onions and the roast and put on a plate and cover with foil so then I can make the gravy, and I'm going to turn the heat up on the oven to 400 for the Yorkshire pudding. Put a little bit of butter in each one, or you can use drippings from the roast. Grandma and Mom always used margarine, actually. The oven is on preheated to 500. I'm gonna stick this in here for this to melt and get really hot. So we're gonna fill the muffin tins 3/4 full. I probably shouldn't have done that middle one. We'll see. There we go. Now we're going to put these in the oven. Keep the oven door closed. It takes a half hour, and do not check for at least 20 to 25 minutes. I have a glass window, a dirty glass window, so I'll just look through there. I haven't made these in a few years. I don't know why. You know, you get out of the habit of doing something, but they are good. Okay, I'm gonna turn the heat on underneath this. I could transfer it to another pan, but I want to get some of this stuff up, except for that. There's some flakes there I don't want. But I want to get this up because it has a lot of flavor. So I'm going to sprinkle it with flour. And we will let it start to cook so there's no flour smell anymore until it gets kind of toasty. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter also. I added some water to the drippings. I'm gonna start it this way. It's a little dry. You can add beef stock. You can add bouillon, home canned beef broth. Just keep adding the liquid, getting it incorporated. If there's any lumps of the flour, just work it out. Now we'll just stir it till it's thickened. I am going to strain the gravy. There was some big flakes that I didn't like the texture of. That like just cooked down to the bottom. So, and there's some lumps. I made a mess. So it's nice brown gravy. Time to cut this. And I ate some of the onions because I love them. So the popovers or English Yorkshire puddings are about ready to come out. So I need to get this sliced and serve everything up. Okay, here they are out. This one is the good one. I don't know if I didn't put enough in some of these, but now to get the meat sliced and serve up dinner. Okay, here's one. Sorry, that's a microwave. Here is one that I opened up, put some butter in it. They're good with gravy. Crunchy. So good. I need to call Jim to come eat.
So here is everything on the plate, including the applesauce. And I really enjoy putting this together, and I hope you enjoy it too. See you next time at Pike Creek Farm.